Okay, so let's dive into this. We've got these sources looking at AI and its impact on, well, something really core to work. Community.
Yeah. Community. It's fundamental, isn't it? Workplaces haven't just been about tasks for, like, centuries.
Exactly. They've been social hubs, places we build identity, connection. Think about guilds, factory floors, even early virtual teams.
Right. There's always been that social fabric.
Yeah.
And the sources really hammer home that it's not just nice to have. It's about belonging, learning informally from each other, morale.
Totally. And now AI enters the picture, and it's framed differently, not just as another tool, but almost like a novel colleague.
That's the key term, yeah. Novel colleague.
So this deep dive is all about figuring out what that actually means for your day-to-day experience at work based on what these materials are telling us.
And maybe what makes AI feel different this time compared to, say, the internet or PCs is how it engages with cognitive stuff.
How?
Well, it's doing things like summarizing, drafting emails, even having basic conversations, things only humans used to do. It interacts differently.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting, kind of a paradox that jumps out from the sources.
Yeah.
AI promises more connection in some ways, right?
Uh-huh. Better efficiency, too. Like, imagine instant translation in a global meeting. Barriers just disappear.
Or getting a quick summary of a massive report instead of bugging a coworker.
Exactly. Saves time, streamlines things.
Yeah.
But, and this is the twist,
Oh, wow.
the sources warn this could actually lead to more isolation, more loneliness.
Feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? More connectivity tech, but potentially less human connection.
Yeah. The argument is if you get your answer from an AI instantly, you might skip that chat with Sarah down the hall. You lose those spontaneous moments.
Those water cooler moments, yeah, where you actually build rapport, maybe learn something unexpected.
Right. So the drive for efficiency could kind of accidentally chip away at the informal social side, the camaraderie.
So you're like getting more done maybe, but feeling less plugged into the actual human team.
Potentially. Some sources suggest work relationships could become more transactional, task-focused, mediated by the tech.
Less about shared experience, more about algorithmic exchange.
And tied into that is another risk the sources flag, this idea of an AI literacy divide.
Like the digital divide, but for AI skills.
Pretty much. Those that get good at working with these AI colleagues could pull ahead, potentially leaving others behind.
Yeah.
Creating new hierarchies.
Okay, so it's definitely shaping up as a double-edged sword, which comes through loud and clear.
For sure. On the one hand, real potential for good. Enhanced inclusion? Maybe.
How? Like accessibility tools.
Yeah, or maybe AI helping reduce bias in, say, initial job application screening, that kind of thing. Plus, automating the boring stuff.
Right, freeing you up for more creative, human-centric work. That's the promise.
But the other edge of the sword, well, the sources point to risks like AI introducing bias if it's not built or managed carefully.
Okay, so bias is still a concern.
Definitely. And also, maybe less informal support if you're always going to the AI first instead of a teammate. And then there's technostress.
Technostress, just the pressure of dealing with all this tech.
Yeah, that feeling of being overwhelmed or anxious, interacting with complex systems all day. It can feed into feeling isolated, too.
So let's bring it back to the listener. What does this mean for you in your job? AI is changing daily communication, right? Making it faster, more data-driven, perhaps.
Uh-huh. And HR processes are shifting, aiming for personalization via AI. Even how teams are managed. Algorithmic management is a term floating around.
It sounds like the big takeaway from all this material is the future isn't set in stone.
Not at all. It really hinges on the choices we make, how companies design and roll out AI, how we interact with it.
So conscious choices are needed. The sources seem to push for a human-centric approach.
Absolutely. Focusing on ethics, upskilling people for uniquely human tasks, and leadership fostering trust in this new environment. That seems crucial.
Okay, so as we wrap up, here's something to really chew on directly from thinking about all this. As AI gets more deeply woven into your workday, how does that change what connection and trust even mean at work? How might those concepts need to evolve?